All right, TCF family, join me in congratulating Brock for being June's Member of the Month. Brock, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I work right now as a scientist at a company called Bioagiletics, which is basically a research company that kind of like tests drugs that are being produced by clients that are trying to get their stuff onto the market. And they have to kind of get a set type of experiments done that need to then be approved by the FDA to get their drug on the market. So that's kind of what we do, is like run those experiments in the lab, help optimize things, just get them the data they need to get their drug on the market. Yeah, before that, graduated from Clemson with my PhD, and then Zach and I moved here, so that's what we've been doing since I got here.
Yeah, and then you're from where in Mississippi?
Starkville, Mississippi originally, home of the Bulldogs, Mississippi State, not Ole Miss.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, which side do
Yep,
you go from? I
gotta
guess
be
it's kind of
careful.
like NC State and UNC
Yeah,
sort of
it's a
thing.
pretty big rivalry.
Okay. Yeah. And they play. Don't they play? This is just a random fact that just popped in my mind. Don't they play like every year on or the day before Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
something like
usually
that?
somewhere right around Thanksgiving is the Egg Bowl.
Yeah, that's what
And
it is.
That's when
Okay.
it's State versus Ole Miss.
Yeah. There
Yep.
we go. Cool. And then so, where did you live before NC? I know you said like obviously Mississippi and then Clemson.
Yeah, so born in Mississippi in Starkville, and also stayed there for college because my parents both worked at the university, so that
At
allowed me
Mississippi
to get,
State?
Yeah,
Okay.
they both worked there, so if one parent worked, you got 50% tuition waived. If both worked, you got 100% tuition waived, so
Oh.
it was like, I'm staying
No
there.
brainer. Yeah.
So went there for college, and then after that, I did a fellowship program in Montana at a lab there that's called the Rocky Mountain Labs. It's part of the NIH.
Mhm.
And that was really cool. I was there for like 2.5 years in Hamilton, Montana, which is in like the Bitterroot Valley. So that was really awesome. It's like western Montana. Loved it so much, miss it a lot.
Yeah.
So I went from Mississippi all the way up to Montana.
And did you go there before the whole Yellowstone craze or after the whole Yellowstone?
Before,
Okay.
but it was really cool. They did film some of that like right where I was living when I was out there. So
So you
I
actually, like,
recognized the
saw
mountains
it?
and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Not while I was there,
Oh.
but
Like just watching the show, you're like, oh,
Yep.
I know that
Yeah.
place.
mm-hmm. So
Oh,
that was
cool.
really cool. But yeah, so I was out there for 2.5 years, and then moved back to Mississippi briefly before Zach and I relocated to South Carolina, and we were there for about 5 years, and then moved here.
Nice.
So Montana definitely stands out among.
Yeah, I was about to say, which one
previous
out of all the
places.
places, where would you say was the best or whatever?
I mean, aside from being so far away from family, that was really hard being way out in Montana, but scenery-wise and like things to do, Montana was the best by far.
Yeah.
Just really awesome, like 360 view of mountains all around everywhere you look, so can't really beat that.
Yeah. So wait, so things to do. My first thought is there's not really a lot of things to do. Is
Well,
there like
if you don't enjoy the outdoors, then
Okay.
you'd be correct.
okay?
But like hiking, I did try to get into the winter sports of like skiing a little bit. I wasn't great at that. I liked cross country skiing, but like downhill skiing kind of scared me because I've never really done much of that before. So yeah, which I guess if you're gonna live there year round, you need to get into the winter sports, or else you're gonna be pretty miserable for that large chunk of the year that it's snowing.
Was it pretty much like half and half sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, we could have snow even as late as like April, even crazy times like maybe even June of
Wow.
like random kind of cold snaps. But yeah, it took a while to like really get warmed up, and then pretty good months were like June, July, August, and then it would start getting pretty cold again, like maybe mid to late October. So yeah, it was kind of a short window of like really nice weather,
Yeah.
but I don't know, it was amazing.
Is it kind of like Alaska where the bugs out there are like probably ginormous? What is it, like mosquitoes are huge or something like that?
Honestly, not really. I feel like the harsh cold kind of kept them at bay a little bit. But I mean, all other wildlife, like, yes.
Yeah.
Larger than life, crazy, scary.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so and then where did y'all, I guess, go to Yellowstone or anything like that? Like the actual
Yeah.
park?
While I lived out there, I got to travel to Yellowstone and see that park for a little bit. And then we also went to like the Grand Tetons in Wyoming. I wanted to go up to Canada since we were so close, but the furthest I got was like Whitefish, Montana, which is really close to the border, but didn't get quite into Canada. So did hit some of the big national parks that were out there though.
Yeah. Maybe next time, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and then we were talking beforehand or whatever, and then like one of the questions I was gonna ask is like, where y'all gonna retire to? And then
Yeah.
you're like, I don't know the answer to that. I was like, well, I think Zach's pretty
Zach's
dead
got it
set.
set for us. Yeah, I mean, ultimately that'll be amazing to move back there one day. But again, it really does get hard. Like once you get somewhere and get settled and have family, that's the biggest drawback I think to moving. So maybe we can get our kids out there early on.
Just get the whole family
Yeah,
uproot.
just transplant.
Yep.
Because my parents loved it too when they would visit. So maybe we can just move on out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, so you said you're a scientist. Okay. What got you into like science and liking science and?
I think so. When I first started undergrad in college, I initially was interested in psychology, and I don't know. I guess I think it was my sophomore year where they were like, okay, you need to start like really getting into some research labs if you're gonna do psychology. And I was like not quite motivated, so I was like, okay, I need to pivot and see kind of what it was I liked about that field. And it was like I guess it's just the science in general was sort of the field that drew me. And so I had taken like some basic biology courses, and once I started taking those, I was like, okay, this is more of like where I think I really would like to go into for my career. And I just ended up like talking to one of my professors to try to get like recommendation for a fellowship I wanted to do, and he was like, well, why don't you just come try to do some work in my lab? So I did that, and it was like kind of match made from there. Like once I got in the lab and started doing little experiments and seeing how that was, I was like, oh, this is fun. Like I could see myself sticking with this.
And so are you like a specific kind of scientist, or are you just kind of like
I would say
you specialize,
like,
I guess?
In grad school I specialized in like microbiology. Specifically I was studying like parasites. When I worked in Montana, that was more like immunology based. So kind of in a nutshell, sort of like infectious disease type stuff was really what drew me initially and kind of started me out with my initial research. And now it's kind of transitioned more into like the industry based, like drug testing type of thing.
And that's just kind of based on I guess where you're working or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever work on anything like World War Z or something like that? That's the
Not
first thing
quite.
Have you ever seen that movie?
The zombies.
Yeah, it's like
like something that's out of the lab.
Yeah, I mean the typical zombie movie or whatever, right?
Not quite.
Okay.
But I did work on, when I was in Montana, that was like a biosafety level 3 pathogen. So we did have to work in a special, like if you think about like Ebola and those movies that are like crazy, that's biosafety level 4. And they did have those facilities. Yeah, they did have those facilities at the lab in Montana where I was working, and they were studying Ebola like during one of the big kind of like outbreaks at that time.
Oh wow.
So that was really cool to be that close to like where they were actually doing the science on that. But I was kind of the step below that, so still pretty kind of scary stuff. And the bug that we were working on, it had been weaponized for use in biowarfare during like World War II.
Oh wow.
So pretty like, because it could easily be breathed in and cause you to be sick. So it was something where they were like, oh, we could put this in a capsule and like drop it as a bomb and infect people. So that was kind of how that initially got like up and going and classified as like a high level security agent. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool.
That freaked me out. I'd be so afraid that I would accidentally like break sterilization or something like that, and then
I would have nightmares, honestly. Like working there, I was like, this could be bad if I did mess up. But it was fine. We were trained properly.
You survived. You survived. That's all that matters, right?
It's all good.
And then something you told me was like you have the same birthday as Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
So do you think that had any effect in you becoming a scientist or not?
I don't know, maybe. And also March 14th is Pi Day, so that's another like math sciencey thing. So I don't know, maybe it was just meant to be.
Oh, I was gonna say because it's 3.1415, so you weren't born in 2015, right?
No, not quite. Not quite. But then also too, like I said, my parents both worked at the university. My dad was a psychologist. My mom was in like IT systems. So I think probably that had something to do with it too. They both are kind of like sciencey fields. So probably that influence as well, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And what was your what's your fitness story, your fitness background, and everything like that?
So in high school, I played soccer and volleyball, and that kind of like was, working out built into my lifestyle then, I guess. And then, leaving the house, going to college, like I wasn't really playing college level sports. I played some intramural soccer, but that was when I did start to have to like kind of making myself go to the gym and like try to keep active. And in my head, I always sort of like remember thinking like, okay, if I was playing soccer, I would have been running like all these days of the week and kind of having to fill that gap of like working it into my routine on my own. And then from there, like once I got to grad school, kind of slacked off with working out a little bit, but I did do like some Orange Theory fitness classes while I was there, and I enjoyed that.
And you were coached by Jason Hopper, right?
Yeah, that was a fun fact. Zach was like, you should definitely say that. You should throw that in there. But yeah, that was pretty cool because I guess it was before he kind of like really got into the CrossFit world or whatever. And I remember seeing him on TV when Zach was watching one of the competitions. I was like, I
another guy.
was coached by him. So that was cool. So yeah, then after Orange Theory, moved here. Wasn't really doing anything at first when we moved out here until Zach was like, Brock, you gotta come try CrossFit.
Yeah.
He was working on me in South Carolina. He was like, he wanted me to start with him back then, but I just never did. So I'm glad I finally took the leap once I got out here.
Well, it was cool because like Zach came and he's like, yeah, my wife, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, bring her in.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, we'll
I
try.
was definitely nervous.
But I mean, you've been here now for what, like a year and a half,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I think in like maybe September, in the fall of this year, it'll be like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then since then, you've become pregnant and everything like that. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you.
And how's it been like working out? Well, prior to and then now
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah, so prior to, like, obviously pushing myself as hard as I could and being able to really see, like, those advancements the longer I've stuck with it, seeing myself get stronger and, like, kind of building more stamina versus now with being pregnant, just having to scale back a little bit. But it's also really encouraging to have seen so many other women at the gym here that have gone through their pregnancies while still working out and knowing that, like, you can still do these movements and just scale appropriately and it's still safe and you're still getting a good workout. So that has been challenging, though, to try to, like, rein it in and not push myself to the brink of where I would kind of want to, just to be on the safe side. But
Yeah.
it's working out. I'm still here, showing up.
Yeah, I mean, and then like, I mean, I've coached plenty of people where they like work out until like a couple weeks before, or even I had one lady that worked out like the day before she gave birth or whatever.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how long.
Right,
I'll
right.
Keep going.
I mean, listen
Fingers
to your body and
crossed.
everything like that,
Yeah.
but it's just cool that like, I mean, just like everything in CrossFit, it's scalable, adjustable.
Yeah.
We can adjust to whatever your needs are.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
really
that.
encouraging to know, like, I don't have to just stop cold turkey, which is the opposite of what you really want to do. Like, you need to keep moving and keep going. So it's good to know I'm, like, in the right spot to have you guys help me scale and, like, keep moving.
Yeah, good. And then before joining TCF, what was the biggest challenge that you kind of faced?
I would say definitely consistency. Kind of like I mentioned, you know, moving out, not being in high school, like having someone say, oh, you're going to soccer practice today, whatever. Like moving out and trying to establish that routine on my own, like kind of spotty here and there, like would kind of fall off at times. And then definitely in grad school, like getting stressed and busy with that, like took away from being as consistent with working out. But yeah, I would say overall, that's probably the biggest thing that I've had to struggle with is like just keeping myself in it and not slacking off too much.
Yeah, and then how'd that make you feel?
Not great. Because, you know, it's hard, like, you get maybe to a certain level and you slack off for a few weeks and go back and you're like, crap, I'm really struggling. So that just kind of made me feel, like, unhealthy, like, not at the fitness level I could have potentially been at. So just kind of, I guess, negative overall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but then that all changed after joining, right? So you kind of had that consistency not only from Zach, but maybe other people, things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely nice having Zach built in at home to be like, are you going to the gym, blah, blah, blah. But for sure, like, being here, the atmosphere of just the coaches and the members, like, everybody's so nice and encouraging and, you know, reach out and ask, like, hey, how are you doing? You know, that kind of thing just helps keep you pushing and going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That little community aspect, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then what other positive impacts have you seen since kind of working out at TCF?
Definitely overall feel better and healthier. And I did like the nutrition program with Mike for a while, and that definitely helped me incorporate like a lot more healthy habits into my eating and lifestyle. So I think that combined with the working out, I've definitely been able to see like a little bit of weight loss, more muscle gain. So that's been really encouraging to actually see those results start showing up.
Yeah, that's good. And then is there anything that you would say to somebody on the fence about joining?
Definitely join. It's a great choice. Again, that community aspect I think is just so nice, like, because you also gain friends. You're not only here like getting a better, healthier lifestyle, but you're gaining a community of people that you can reach out to and hang out with outside of the gym.
Right.
So that's always important too.
Yeah, maybe do Spartan races with them and things like that,
right?
maybe
not.
Yeah, right. But it's like you have all the people come together, right? You're all here for the same reason or similar reason, and then I mean y'all are all supporting each other.
Yeah. Check in. Haven't seen you in a while. Like, are you doing okay? Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And then again, Brock, congratulations for being
Thanks.
June's member of the month.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then hope everyone enjoyed it and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
Bam.